this video, we will illustrate a fundamental part of an action research project titled Recovery Net, funded by Caripro Foundation, that had been working toward the recovery-oriented and community-based psychiatry in the east of Lombardy region in Italy. Let's start with explaining some key terms. Recovery is a recent orientation of therapeutic practices in mental health care, which requires a shift from focusing on treatment of the disease, which is clinical recovery, to the promotion of well-being, which is instead personal recovery, that implies a growing engagement of users toward co-production. Co-production instead implies the active user engagement and participation in service design and delivery. The concept of co-production is associated with a regime change in the relationship models that qualify public administrations, which favor cooperative forms of governance and recognize an active and participatory role of citizens themselves. The redesigning of services toward recovery and co-production must inevitably aim at a systemic change that promotes forms of community psychiatry, meaning co-produced not only between health and social care professionals and users, but also with formal or informal resources present in the territory. Co-production with informal care, like family caregivers or local organizations, brings new perspectives to organizational activities, potentially reducing operational blind spots. However, integrating informal care contributions into traditional organized services faces challenges due to the hierarchical decision-making structures, which are mostly dominated by health professionals. Furthermore, changes within single service encounters and organizations are not enough, as individual recovery journeys move in between institutional care and more informal and community-based solutions that need to collaborate. To achieve a full personal recovery, it is fundamental a transformation, also at the societal level, to overcome other barriers related to stigma and social inclusion or unfavorable policy frames. All these premises have informed the Recovery Net project we are going to talk about today.
The Recovery Net project brought together a wide array of partners: two mental health departments of the cities of Brescia and Mantova, three universities representing the field of design, sociology and psychology, two cooperatives, three family associations and a theater company. Given the complexity of transforming and reorienting the service ecosystem toward a recovery-oriented and community-based psychiatry, the project has been conceived from its start as multi-level process, simultaneously operating at a micro level, co-production of the individual treatment plan, meso-level, service and organizational change toward recovery and co-creation, and macro-level, cultural change in society and informing policy making. The specific role of service design within Recovery Net was at the meso-level with the facilitation of the co-design process of three local laboratories outside the institutional services, intended both as physical and social spaces, with a threefold aim to help innovating services, supporting social inclusion, and co-creating with the territory. We are now going to focus on one of these labs that was implemented, which is the Collab Torre Cimabue of San Polo district in Brescia. The co-design process led by Desis Lab of Politecnico di Milano consisted of four main activities. First, a scenario development workshop across Recovery Net territories. Second, a collaborative and contextual research focused on San Polo neighborhood to identify needs and opportunities. Third, a localized idea generation workshop dedicated to Collab in Brescia. Fourth, a detailed specification workshop to define the future lab's activities, role, and spatial layout. The first activity consisted in a transversal search of an hybrid model of innovation lab, via desk research and the first general co-design workshop. In particular, the project identified three main types of laboratories that address various challenges: innovation labs, living labs, and community hubs. The first recovery collab aimed to integrate elements from all these three laboratory types to advance community-based psychiatry. The first workshop involved stakeholders like service providers, patients, partners, volunteers, and organizations, brainstorming scenarios for future labs based on desk research. 4 scenarios were developed and illustrated through storyboards. After this initial workshop, a location was soon identified in the peripheral area of San Polo of Brescia, in the first floor of Torre Cimabue, in a center previously used as a day center for elderly. The identification of this space started the process of negotiation with both the City Council and the several associations that live and use the space close to the center. The Cimabue Tower is owned by Brescia Municipality and managed by ALER, the regional residential building company. The population of the tower is varied. Elderly people living here for decades, foreign families with many children, housing for social service, a set of apartments for mental health patients managed by a social cooperative. An extensive 2-month contextual research phase was conducted in the neighborhood surrounding the Cimabue Tower to identify challenges and opportunities for incorporation into the co-design process. This involved interviews with local actors and contextual observation. To ensure effective engagement, a 2-day training program introduced participants to design methodologies and research methods. The second workshop revisited the scenarios, aligning them with the collected neighborhood needs and resources. Feedback from community actors was requested, leading to the development of a unified scenario. Ongoing dialogues with local institutions culminated in a proposal to the City Council for future management of collab space in the Torre Cimabue. The third workshop focused on defining how Collab Torre Cimabue's activities could address mental health needs effectively, resulting in a summary document outlining special configuration, activities, and roles. Following the design phase, various local entities, including institutions, users, voluntary organizations, and operators, expressed interest in continuing the project, leading toward the recognition of the potential of recovery collab by the health provider.
The co-design process led to the development of Collab Torre Cimabue that has now been integrated into mental health care services, officially endorsed by the regional government, Regione Lombardia, as an innovative psychiatric program. Operated by the Department of Mental Health Addiction, Ospedali Civili di Brescia, specifically the Psychiatric Operating Unit number 23, Collab Torre Cimabue functions as a flexible hub offering diverse services to support mental health and psychological well-being, including counseling, training, and territory mapping initiatives. The role of Collab Torre Cimabue is to continue this co-creation process with the local territory, identifying and encountering local resources, co-designing new initiatives that then become opportunities for service users and other residents to take care of their well-being. This co-creation cycle contributes to community building and empowerment processes. While a full integration within institutional healthcare services remain a work in progress, Collab Torre Cimabue has made significant progress in embedding itself within the community and becoming a sustainable initiative.